The next definition we want to give to you is actually more of a topic: Palestinian Christians. Most assume that all Palestinians are Muslims, and yet there is a healthy Palestinian Christian population that has lived in the Holy Land for centuries, but for the past 6 decades have lived under the same experiences as Palestinian Muslims, which includes displacement, occupation, and war. There's an estimated 200,000 Palestinian Christians living in the Holy Land. This is really hard to get an accurate count of the population because there's a diaspora of Palestinian Christians in the United States, in Europe, in Lebanon, Jordan, and Syria. Currently, they make up 2% of the population in the West Bank, 1% of the population in Gaza. So there are 1,000 Palestinian Christians living in the Gaza Strip. They are under the same restrictions as Palestinian Muslims, including worship. So they were able to access and worship freely up until 2005. And there has been restrictions placed on the holy sites in Jerusalem. And so Palestinian Christians have been kept from celebrating Christmas and Easter according to their traditions. Now, the other interesting fact that most people don't know is that there are Palestinian Christian refugees. Debaye camp is in Lebanon. It's just north of Beirut. It was set up in 1956 to accommodate Palestinian Christians fleeing from Galilee. There are 4,000 Palestinian Christian refugees living in the camp. Now, I think it's really important to hear from Palestinian Christians because often their voice gets muted because it's not the loudest in this conflict. So I have two resources that I think are really important. The first is a movie called The Stones Cry Out, and it is interviews with Palestinian Christians, and you get to see what life is like, daily life is like in the West Bank for them. Highly recommend it. The other is a book called Blood Brothers by Elias Shakur, and it was the first book I ever read on Palestinians years ago. And he has an incredible story of being displaced in 1948, his whole family, and how he's lived out his life as a Christian offering reconciliation. Both of those resources can be found on Beirut and Beyond's website page under resources, and there's links that you can click on to get access to them.